Jeff Hoogland, he's having a great day, playing all the rounds today. Blue-Red Wizards. Jim Davis, 2 buys. He's on 6 cards, kept scrying to the top.
But his configuration is fine with this. He has brought 4 copies of the Bugler in his 75. 3 main deck, 1 sideboard, Militia Bugler.
Turn 1 champion of the parish from Jim Davis. Hoogland had a Delver of Secrets. It does feel like in this matchup, the big thing I'm looking at is how much removal does Hoogland have.
Right.
So Opt transforms Delver.
And you see there, Hoagland's already drawn a Mana Leak. Jim there with the turn 1 Cavernous Souls.
All right.
It's going to come down to things like Grim Lavamancer, Lightning Bolt, and he checks a good box here, Grim Lavamancer. That's excellent.
Yeah, and especially that leaving up blue mana for the Opt. That's
right.
Jim has to make this champion outsize Lavamancer immediately.
And the ways that you do that involve committing other creatures into the Lavamancer.
Right. Now, he does have a turn 2, looks like Thalia's Lieutenant, so he can grow it past.
Yep, that's a good exchange. The Lieutenant would likely end up being eaten by the Lavamancer, but at least you have the big champion. Once you get the champion up to 4 toughness, Jeff's going to have quite a bit of trouble with that, though notably the mana base is Spirebluff Canal Mountain, meaning that Jeff could theoretically produce Lightning Bolt or Wizard's Lightning plus Lavamancer activation on the following turn. Could potentially knock Jim right back down to 0 from whatever he produces here.
Players in the 7 p.m. Pauper and 7 p.m. Standard.
Thalia's Lieutenant here from Jim Davis.
Going
to make that champion a 3/3, and that'll swing in. So it will protect it from the Grim Lavamancers. He races back 3 damage of his own. Opt from Hoogland.
No surprises there.
So this is kind of, I think, with the champion at the 3/3, this is Jeff's last chance to get enough damage in, or to remove the creature.
Right. Good news for him, though. Lightning Bolt, I believe I spotted, was the pickup off of that Opt.
And this is just huge. Lightning Bolt for 1, and now Lavamancer can mow down the other one if he wants.
He's in great shape even if he doesn't make a land drop here.
Yeah. The Insectile Aberration swings in again. Jim Davis down to 14.
Given that Jim does not have an Ether Vial, he can kind of sit on the Lavamancer activation. Good chance you're aiming at the Thalia's Lieutenant kind of regardless. You want to think about, what could happen that would make this line bad, but Humans is not flashing anything in without a Vial, so it makes enough sense for Jeff to sit here and wait. If Jim's turn is something like no land drop, Meddling Mage, just aiming the Lavamancer with the Meddling Mage is often going to be better than hitting the Lieutenant on this turn. So Jim is set up to cast 2 creatures on this turn. Looks like Champion of the Parish and a couple options of 2 drops. A Thalia, Guardian of Thraben, and a Kitesail Freebooter at least.
Champion of the Parish from Jim. Pumps up Lieutenant. Jeff doesn't have to respond yet. If Jim makes another human, we might see Lavamancer. And actually in response to it, Jeff's going to shoot it right away.
Once that first human comes out, and it's Champion of the Parish, that's probably what Jeff's going to do anyway, so may as well do it in response.
Grim Lavamancer is going to be tough for Jim to get through.
Yeah, just hand full of creatures that get tagged by Grim Lavamancer. Really deck full of that sort of effect. The Militia Buglers, the Mantis Riders are about Jim's only good draws here. And Jeff's deck gets flush with Lightning Bolts. He has 4 Lightning Bolts, 4 Wizard's Lightning, 4 Snapcaster Mage. Really easy for this deck to Lightning Bolt creatures. We do know about the 1 blank in hand. He has that Mana Leak. It's pretty unlikely you're going to see that amount to anything.
Yeah, I mean, it can hit a Phantasmal Image, and that's about it.
Sure. Or if Jim casts 2 creatures without having another Cavern.
Sure. Jim down to 10 on that last hit off Insectile Aberration. Here is Militia Bugler. That's our new one here out of the core set. Uncounterable. So look at the top 4. We may reveal a creature card with power 2 or less. Put it in hand. Basically everything but Mantis Rider can be found off this.
Pretty nice that you can find Phantasmal Image.
And I like this. Jeff mana leaks it just to put a card in the graveyard. Then Lavamancer's down the champion.
Powerful synergies.
Is Bugler going to miss, though? Jim, 4th card, finds Noble Hierarch.
There you go. That's what you want.
Yeah, well, we could have done better. And Thalia attacks in. Jeff to 14. Jim could still win the race from here.
And that Horizon Canopy casting the Bugler, though, that put Jim to 9.
Yeah.
There's an aberration facing him down.
Now down to 6. Hoogland, a 5th land into play tapped. You do have to wonder whether there's a bolt or some sort of 3-damage spell hanging out in Jeff's hand.
There's already a lightning bolt. I guess that's been exiled now, so Snapcaster Mage is not doing anything. Flashing it in as a surprise attacker could maybe be part of this game, though. As it stands, though, Jim's a little bit behind when it comes to racing the aberration. Looks like Burst Lightning, the red card available in Jeff's hand.
Burst Lightning upstairs, Jim to 4. Snapcaster Burst Lightning, Jim to 2.
Okay, yeah, so Jim has the blocker with the freebooter on the following turn. Okay. Jeff is set up to put him to 1 on the following turn, though. That means that Horizon Canopy cannot make mana.
Right. Well, we can just Snapcaster the Burst Lightning and attack for 3, right? Okay, but the freebooter has to block.
Exactly.
Okay.
Yeah, so freebooter is looking to block here. I mean, that's just on the table. Jim knows about the Snapcaster Mage. You might see Jeff just Snapcaster Burst Lightning away that blocker.
Yeah, even a fetch land kills Jim here because then the Lavamancer's online.
Yes.
I think another Burst Lightning. If that's
4 damage.
That looks like 4 damage.
You need a land to kick it.
Okay.
Thalia.
It still works, though. Swing. He burns away the blocker, swings in for 3, Lavamancer for 2. Jeff Hoogland going to take game 1 here.
Yeah, and the matchup, I do think is fairly good for him. He only drew 1 mana leak. And that card, I would be surprised to see it in the post-Cyborg configuration. He gets more removal spells, gets to kind of play a control deck, and he's also a deck that presents a really good clock. So we look at Jeff's sideboard. We have 2 Magma Spray, 2 Abrade, 2 Disdainful Stroke, 2 Alpine Moon, 2 Is It Staticaster, 2 Negate, a Roast, an Entrancing Melody, and a Dispel. Basically, if it can kill a creature, it's coming in.
It's killing creatures coming in. I'm interested. So that's going to be your Roast, Abrades, and Magma Sprays. I'm looking at that Entrancing Melody again. Humans has some cheap cards. You could hit, Jeff does have on the draw, has a weak spot in Champion of the Parish. Yeah. And this is a way to answer it.
Right. On the draw, it's a little bit mana inefficient. So when it comes to cards he's taking out, the Spell Snare, the 3 mana leak.
Right.
I don't think he's necessarily cutting any of his creatures. I guess the Spell Stutter Stride is particularly weak, so maybe you're looking at 8. So you have 2 on Mega Spray, up to 4 on Abrade, up to 6 going with the Staticasters, 7 with the Roast. So the 8th card would be the Melody. I could see that being the configuration if you say a Spell Stutter Stride is an 8th card that I just don't want.
Sure. On Jim's side, 3 Sin Collector, 2 Gutshot, 2 Damping Sphere, 2 Reclamation Sage, 2 Auriok Champion, 2 as a Staticaster, a Reflector Mage, and a Militia Bugler. I'm really looking at Auriok Champion in this matchup and maybe some other cards.
Champion's quite good. It can gain some life. You can't really deal with it with a removal spell. Jim's Is It Staticasters are actually really good. As we talked about when we covered Jeff earlier, his creatures all just have 1 toughness.
It's just the whole deck, actually.
Yeah, outside of transforming Delver of Secrets, everything just gets tagged by the Staticaster. Sin Collector also pretty good in the matchup. A lot of instants and sorceries in Jeff's deck, getting those Lightning Bolts, Wizard's Lightning out, exiling them at that. That's pretty powerful. Jim can also reach for these Gut Shots. I mean, if Staticaster is good, that's usually a sign that Gut Shot's also good. It's pretty reasonable. Unclear how much Jim knows about Jeff's particular deck. This is a weird one. Don't see a lot of Wizards, and this build's relatively new. But if he saw a head decklist face up, I have to figure he would be reaching for Gut Shot. And he saw Lavamancer, Delver of Secrets in Game 1. There's probably enough to make an argument.
He did just get beaten mostly on the back of a turn 1 of an early Grim Lavamancer. Based on how that game played out, I wouldn't be surprised if Jim goes for Gut Shots and Staticasters.
Right. The 4th Bugler is also fine. Card advantage against a deck that's trying to grind you out. That can convert in a big way as well.
Well, as July comes to a close, we have our July game night creature added to the creature collection. It is playing with fire. It's our dragon here. If you didn't get a chance to win it at game night, fortunately, you can still get it on playmats and sleeves over on our website, StarCityGames.com creature collection. You can find it there along with all the other creatures previously featured on StarCityGames.com.
It's that dragon that clearly has just eaten the night.
He's got that lance sticking out of his mouth.
It's up to no good. Guess I don't know if there's a hand on the lance. You know, maybe it's just the lance, but I would be surprised if that was the situation. Yeah, the humans matchup is actually one of the reasons I started looking at the Wizards deck. Just having 8 lightning bolts, pretty good when one of the most popular decks in the format is just flush with 1, 2, and 3 toughness creatures. Though Jim does have some pretty good sideboard options available. Militia Bugler actually seems like a pretty significant upgrade. Sure, Jim would
it
agree.
certainly helped in that game. I mean, the idea of it helped. I guess I found a noble hierarchy. But
conceptually,
I liked the play.
Yeah.
And we have that turn. It was turn Noble Hierarch met by turn 1 Grim Lavamancer by Hoogland. So we're going to get that check on Jim. Does he have any of those board cards we talked about?
Looks like white creatures in the hand.
Okay. Well, this is going to... The Lavamancers could hurt him again then this game. We see Jim opting for turn 1 Noble Hierarch over Champion of the Parish.
Had he drawn Staticaster, it would have been huge.
Right.
He still gets to cast 2 creatures here. Champion Thalia's Lieutenant seems like a pretty good line.
Yeah, that's not bad.
You immediately get the champion up to a 3/3.
I guess what you'd hate to see something like Fetch, Bolt, Lavamancer.
Right. With this line, you kind of force Jeff to have exactly that. Not just the Lightning Bolt, but also the Fetch land.
Right. He does have Wizard's Lightning, so now we're just looking at does he have a Fetch land to go with the Wizard's Lightning. And I think he does, Ryan.
It's a big deal. It's a Flooded Strand, so it'll cost him 3 life, but he's more than willing to pay that price.
Yeah. Wizard's Lightning and Champion of the Parish. Yeah, Grim Lavamancer works for that.
I'm just saying I find myself fetching a lot of basic mountains with this sort of deck. Jeff's deck is heavier on blue spells than what I have played.
Do you think he shoots down Noble Hierarch or Thalia's Lieutenant here?
It's easier to get the Lieutenant out of Lavamancer range, so the mana off of the Hierarch is kind of what allows you to do that.
All right. Looks like Jeff's actually going to fetch Shock and then pick neither.
Once you're not hitting the Hierarch before it can make mana, that suggests to me that he's looking at the Lieutenant. Jim has produced a Phantasmal Image in hand. That would force some action with the Lavamancer. Not only in the sense that the Thalia's Lieutenant gets out of hand if it's copied, just kind of right away, but also you would rather that Jim just copied the Noble Hierarch.
And we have Militia Bugler from Jim. He's hoping to do better than a Noble Hierarch this time.
Yeah.
Reflector Mage. Can't take Mantis Rider. Can take Champion of the Parish and a land.
Reflector Mage is not the worst against Grim Lavamancer.
No, that's actually pretty good here. It's another 2/3, so it doesn't die. It also buys him some time.
Right. It's 2 turns of no activations. The one that Jeff can't cast it, and the turn where he plays it, he can't activate it. And then, like you said, 2/3. So it just gets to stick around if the Lavamancer is the only removal available.
Lavamancer will shoot down that Thalia's Lieutenant, but Hoogland takes 1. And I actually like him. So the reason he waits that whole time, he actually saved himself a life point from Exalted.
Yeah, and I like the way that Jim attacked there with the Noble Hierarch as well. I mean,
yeah.
Face up on the table, that Exalted trigger is not going to happen. The Jim gets connect for 1 instead of 0.
Back over to Hoogland we go. No graveyard to see if he can restock it for that Lavamancer. A Braid takes care of the Bugler. And he'll just swing in with the Lavamancer. Nothing else to be done.
Getting aggressive.
Delver of Secrets the play. Both life levels still high. Hoogland at 16, Davis at 19.
Looks like Reflector Mage was the draw for turn. Interesting interaction between Delver of Secrets and Reflector Mage, rather Insectile Aberration and Reflector Mage. If Jeff transforms that, and you see Jim bounce it with a Reflector Mage, that means that Jeff can't cast Insectile Aberration next turn. Can still cast Delver of Secrets. Probably more worthwhile, and you see Jim go for it. He's going to start with the Lavamancer, but actually just Phantasmal Image just bounces them both this turn. And Jeff's behind on life totals, and he can't cast at least 2 of the cards in his hand. And I want to say that Jeff has drawn one of his Is It Staticasters, and Jim just has a bunch of creatures with more than enough toughness for that.
Yeah, I mean, you can get the Phantasmal Image that way.
Yes. Yeah, so it's not for nothing.
Yeah, and eventually it can combine with Grim Lavamancer. So we'll see how much damage I think Jim can put out at this point.
Jim's hand is getting a little bit light. He just cracked Rising Canopy, drew Ether Vial, and has another land. The last card being a second Reflector Mage.
And Jeff had a good player with the Staticaster, waits for both attacks, no Exalted. Now he can block one Reflector Mage and ping down the image. This was really well done.
Yeah, and on this next turn, he'll be able to recommit that Lavamancer and that Delver.
We're like, we'll see whether or not Jim wants to reflect the Staticaster back into Jeff's hand. It's the only creature he has left. He has land and Aether Vial otherwise.
Yeah, he knows that Jeff minimally gets to cast Delver Lavamancer on the next turn. So setting up to have a couple Reflector Mages just be on the beatdown from there, it makes some sense. Opts against it, though, the Ether Vial, it gives him some good play. You're more capable of beating Grim Lavamancer as a Staticaster when you're vialing in your pump effects, though he doesn't have any just yet.
And now he just commits the whole rest of the hand. It's 2 Delver of Secrets and a Grim Lavamancer. Looks like he actually has 1 card left, but that's going to be it. Jim, back over to Jim, ticks up. And with just a Reflector Mage in his hand, this is going to be tough for Jim to overcome.
That's where Jim really needed to find his own Is It Staticaster. He's coming across for 3 with a Reflector Mage, but just relatively likely to be cracking back for a pretty large number on this turn.
Yeah, you can reflect the Lavamancer back, but as soon as those Delvers transform, we're playing a different game.
Right.
Lavamancer back in the hand for Hoogland. And now we'll see how quickly they transform. And not only is it right away, but it's off a real nice card here. Lightning Bolt the draw for Hoogland.
Delver's Secrets and Lightning Bolt are like chocolate and peanut butter. That's just a nice, wholesome comp. 2 great tastes that taste great together.
Swings in for 6. Jim down to 12. Remember the one I always was scared of in Standard was Delver Secrets flipping off Mana Leak.
Yeah.
That was just the dumbest. Like, oh, okay.
I see that our experiences were different regarding that.
I played it at a couple events, too. I was on both sides of that one.
That was the best. Jim did pick up a Mantis Rider, so it is vigilant. Gets to make an attack with it, and
gets hit by Lightning Bolt.
Yeah, that's probably what's going to happen. It's one of his higher impact cards, but Jeff has pulled pretty far ahead at this point.
Yeah, and you see Jim just swings in with Reflector Mage. He exalts it up to a 3/4, puts Hoogland down to 10.
It's not a blocker.
Right.
Got to do something with it. And despite a couple favorable exchanges and a sideboard plan that looked pretty good with Jim, I think Jeff's position is just really strong in this matchup. Game 1, that Grim Lavamancer was kind of everything. Jim was able to work through a little bit of what Jeff presented in this game, but there's just a heavy amount of these 3 damage removal spells. The insectile aberration, being able to fly over, is a huge deal.
And a Snapcasted Abrade takes care of the blocker. And now we'll see the Lavamancer recast. Jim's at 6. Jeff still has the Lightning Bolt, didn't even use it.
Yeah, Snapcaster Abrade, let him maintain that.
Dolly's Lieutenant the draw for Jim. That's not going to do it.
Yeah, with Jeff at 10, Jim with plenty of blockers, yeah, Jim's going to call it quits.
And Jeff Hoogland, 7